All right, guys, like you saw in the title, I ordered a cheap Hooke Road roof rack for the Cayenne, and we're gonna see how it mounts up. I also ordered the super important roof rail mounts off of a Cayenne that was being parted out.
If you look really closely, right here, it says HL, which means this is on the left. And then on this side, there's an arrow pointing this way, which means that this points towards the front of the car. Same thing on this one, right? So on this, you're gonna see right there, HR, meaning it's gonna go on the right side of the car. And we have an arrow pointing to the front that way as well. For some reason, 4 of the 6 have these little metal, like retaining clips, and 2 of the 6 don't. I'm thinking it's because on the Cayennes, especially the ones with the roof racks that go from front to back, it has 3 mounting points. So front, middle, and back. And these ones without the little metal clips are for the middle. And these clips are for the front and back. Let's get to assembling this roof rack and then trying to mount these up. I heard that there were some fitment issues before on the last batch of Hooke Road roof racks where the holes didn't line up right here. So we're gonna see if that's still an issue. They did go out of stock for about a month, and I think they were addressing that, hopefully, fingers crossed. So we'll see.
In the box, we have some good instructions. I even got a sticker from Hooke Road. Shout out to Hooke Road for the sticker. That's gonna be fun. Looks like we have a few boxes for hardware too. And then all the goodies you're gonna need to assemble this. So we have a bunch of, it looks like the crossbars. We have 2 sides, right here and right here. Not sure what this one's for, but we'll figure it out. And then this looks like the front panel that covers the entire thing.
One more time, here's what's in the actual box itself. So it comes with a front fairing, rear fairing, crossbars, the short crossbar that apparently goes right behind the front fairing, 2 side rails, and a bunch of support brackets there. So these are gonna be the support brackets that actually mount it to the roof using the OEM roof mounts. And then all of your hardware and accessories right here. Looks like step 1 is gonna involve using the short crossbar to mount to the front fairing. Looks like we're gonna slide 8 T-sliding slot nuts into the short crossbar. By the way, before we get started, I wanted to test fitment of the Hooke Road mount to the OEM mount. People were saying before that the holes didn't align. So when I look at this here, it's looking like it slots in pretty good. It's a nice tight fit. So I'm wondering if Hooke Road fixed it from the originals there, because people used to have to like drill these out to be able to actually slot it on. But when you take a look, it just goes in perfectly. So that's a win. All right, so just so I can give you a close-up of step 1, here are the little T-nuts. Here is the little tiny bolt that goes in there. I'm gonna put a washer on this side, stick it through, and I have to slide these T-nuts into that short crossbar.
So the T-nuts only go in one way. So right there, slide them in, and you're gonna get 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom. Guys, this is actually kind of hard. Like, when you put the T-nuts in there, they just keep sliding around. So I've been like trying to slide them back and forth in here, trying to chase them down. But I have the top loosely in right now. I'm gonna slide the rest of the T-nuts on the bottom because they all slid out. So I'm gonna feed them through one by one. Okay, so I'm feeding the T-nuts in. I'm gonna try to get it right here. I actually used one of the screws as a stopper for when it's sliding, just to get it right there. Nice. All right, guys, we moved operations inside because outside it's kind of warm. So we're gonna finish up the roof rack in here. We're finally done with step 1. We brought everything inside. Step 2 is glue the EVA to the bottom of the support brackets. I'm assuming this is an EVA. It's like a little padded sticker. Here, I think, is where it goes. So let's glue it. There you go. So this is kind of nice. It gives you just a little bit of padding so it's not sitting metal on metal on your paint. Next up, we're installing the front to the sides. So that to that. All right, we have everything mocked up. We have the 20mm bolts all around. So I'm gonna use 2 in the front, well, 4 in the front, 2 on each side there. They mount to these holes here. And then I'm gonna use the other 4 bolts to mount the rear. So I'm basically building a shell. I'm not gonna tighten anything down too tight just yet, just kind of building it out, and then we're gonna insert the crossbars after. Start lining stuff up. All right, guys, so again, we're not tightening anything, right? I'm just going for a super loose hold on these. All right, now we're doing the same thing on the back. We're gonna go through these 2 holes right here. One thing I noticed about the orientation is that it's gonna be sitting this way. There's like a few different ways to mock it up and have the holes kind of line up, but it looks like this is the way to go, where it creates a solid connection right there. And then you have a dip here. Here comes the fun part. We're gonna install all the crossbars, and we're gonna need 24 of the 16mm button bolts and some flat washers. Line it up, start threading. Last one in the back. Yeah. And here we have the left side roof rail mounts. They're gonna slot right in here. And with the arrow pointing this way, we're just gonna slide it into place. There you go. I'm thinking right there's a good spot. Well, obviously we're gonna move these around and stuff, but we're gonna leave it here for now. Hoping that's how that lines up. It looks like the holes are pretty good, yep. And then we're gonna run a bolt through there. All right, guys, if you look closely inside the mounting bracket, you can see there is a hex in there. And pretty much once you get this in place, apparently if you tighten that hex down, it does something to this and it stays in place. So we're gonna mock this up, right? We're gonna get all 4 of these aligned right to where everything goes. Get these lined up, get the bolts through there. Ooh, that's feeling nice. Just to see if the holes line up. Yes, they do. Oh, that's exciting. Guys, I really know this was a problem on the old Hooke Road racks where like your OEM mount and the Hooke Road mount did not line up. They were like slightly off and people were getting really frustrated having to like drill this out. Obviously they don't want to drill out this because there's threads. So they would drill their Hooke Road mounts out and yeah, just to allow for a little bit more play of that bolt. Check that out. Yep.
A few moments later.
All right, guys, so here's the setup. Totally did it wrong earlier, but you have your OEM mount, you have your Hooke Road bracket, and you're just gonna line them perfectly like that. And then the hole still lines up so well in there.
I know that before they had a problem where they didn't really align. So I think they fixed it on this batch. And this should just thread into here and then lock into the threads on the actual mount. There you go. So we're gonna keep this loose for now until we get everything mounted up. Roof rack is ready to go on the Cayenne. We have our mounts loosely mocked up. We're gonna have to like fine tune where they sit once we put the rack up there. But once we do that and we put it up here, we're gonna bolt the roof rack down to the Hooke Road mount through these little holes right here. They have 8 screws and washers, or 8 bolts and washers that are just gonna align perfectly once this sits up. But, all right, Jake, let's mount it.
Oh no, you're a little hard. That's the highest I could go. Oh no, really? You didn't get this. Arms are too short. Almost. All right, guys. I guess there's a minimum height requirement to put this on a Cayenne. Got it? There you go. There you go. Oh yeah, you're good. All right, that's my limit. All right, watch your fingers.
All right, guys, we got the mount to clear on the back. And everything aligns. I have to use my mallet and just smack the brackets into place, right? Because once you get them in the actual rails itself, it's a little hard to move around. So I had the mallet and I was like inching it forward or backward to help align like the mounting points from Hooke Road right there. So like right here, for example, you can see it. It's lined up with the OEM bracket perfectly. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna lift the rack up, tighten those exactly where they are so that nothing moves, and then we're good. All right, guys, now we tighten every single bolt. I'm gonna start with the actual mount bolts. I'm gonna put it on an impact and just get all of those as tight as I can. And then I'm gonna go around and tighten these 24 to attach to the crossbars. Oh, not again. There you have it. We have our Hooke Road roof rack fully mounted. All the bolts are torqued down and it looks amazing. It's even tougher than it looks though. Look at this. There's no way I can wrestle that rack off of there. You know, I think this was a really good $300-ish roof rack, right, compared to your $1,000 options from literally anyone else. I'd say 300 bucks well spent. But hey, you know what? I'll let you guys be the judge of that. Especially now that the holes line up and all you need to do is have your OEM rail mounts. So I'm gonna go enjoy this. We're hoping to put a rooftop tent on here and you know, hit some camping spots. But all right, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Until next time, peace.